Michigan goes on the road to Nebraska and wins in a 30-27 close matchup between these two Big Ten foes to advance to 3-1 on the year, 1-0 in the Big Ten, in a matchup that was a big one for both teams because you have a Nebraska team that has really struggled to win these big games, and then you have this Michigan team going on the road with a freshman quarterback where last time didn't necessarily go as planned, but Michigan did enough in this game to end up getting the win. Now, I do want to talk a little bit about the freshman quarterback in Bryce Underwood. In this game, I didn't think he was necessarily great. Now, one specific thing that I do need to bring up in that case is he did go 12 for 22. But the biggest issue is that Michigan continues to have issues catching passes. This is something that is going to really hurt them throughout this year. This might be a reason why Michigan loses a game towards the end of the season. If Michigan does not correct this drop issue, it's going to continue to really hold back this offense. Now, obviously, they did end up putting up 30 points. Couple of those reasons were because of big runs. You did have a really good day from Justice Haynes. He continues to be dominant at the running back position, 149 yards. Jordan Marshall, 80 yards. This Michigan team averaged 9.4 yards on the ground, and that's going to be something to continue to keep an eye on for. Now, do I think this Nebraska run defense is that elite? Maybe not necessarily, but this is just something that Michigan continues to do every single game, is they'll have one or two runs that will really break for a long touchdown, and that's exactly what happened for Justice Haynes. Had a 75-yard rush. Jordan Marshall also had a long of 54, and you also had Bryce Underwood did run for a touchdown as well. A great play by him for a 37-yard touchdown run, his only touchdown of the game, but it's going to be truly running the ball, especially for this Michigan team offensively when it comes on the road, because when you have issues dropping passes, you can't get a ton from the wide receiver room. Now, they did get some. Donovan McCulley was probably the best wide receiver for Michigan in this game. 3 receptions, 39 yards. You did have Samaj Morgan, 2 receptions, 22 yards. Martin Klein was 2 receptions, 21 yards. So you did have some performers a little bit from Marlon, Samaj, and Donovan, but it truly was the running back room that truly kept this offense going. Now, a big reason why Nebraska was in this game was because you had a guy in Dylan Raiola that outside of the one interception that he threw to Cole Sullivan, which wasn't a great throw whatsoever, I believe it was a really great timed route by the corner, got a ball on it, and went straight to Cole Sullivan. Outside of that, Dylan Raiola was really good in this game. Now, they did have a Hail Mary at the end of the first half that tied this game, and I truly thought that would have been the big momentum shifter of this game. But you had Michigan come out in the second half, and there were a couple of times where Nebraska kind of got a little bit of momentum back, but outside of really Dylan Raiola and also a great performance by Jakari Barney, which isn't a wide receiver that I thought I would be truly talking about in this game, he had 6 receptions, 120 yards, 2 touchdowns in this game. He was someone that I didn't truly talk too much about the preview. I should have absolutely done so. I was talking more about Dane Key. I think Michigan did a good job on Dane Key. He had only 3 receptions, 36 yards, only a long of 21 yards. When you can really hold Nebraska's best wide receiver, in my opinion, to only 36 yards on the day, I truly think you have to give a ton of credit to Michigan. And then also Michigan defensively, I thought they were able to get some pressure on Bryce Underwood. I thought that they were able to do a pretty good job of stopping the run. Dylan Raiola, technically because of how many times he got sacked, had negative 49 yards. Now, Emmett Johnson did have 65 yards on the ground, but if you look at just the overall average of what Nebraska really ran for, Nebraska could not get anything going offensively when it came to running the ball. Now, obviously, through the air, Dylan Raiola was a completely different story. But when you get enough pressure, when you make enough plays offensively, and you end up getting a turnover in this game through a pick, that's definitely going to put the other team in a little bit of a hole. And Nebraska, towards the end of this game, did find itself too much in a hole. They did end up scoring a touchdown late in this game, had an opportunity for an onside kick. Obviously, didn't recover it. Big field goal for Michigan as well prior to that to get a 10-point lead. And because of that, Michigan was able to win on the road against a Nebraska team that truly needed this win. Now, it is a win that I truly think Michigan is going to look back at the end of the year and realize that, hey, this was a good win for on the road for Bryce Underwood in a performance that probably wasn't something that to be remembered for, to be completely honest with you. But when you have that type of performance starting from your starting quarterback, and you end up going on the road and getting the win in the Big Ten, doesn't necessarily matter who it is. This Nebraska fan base is absolutely passionate, and they'll always show up. They did show up in this game, and Michigan just did a little bit too much for Nebraska in this one. But yeah, no, good win for Michigan. Obviously, must-needed win to get to 3-1. If you would have lost this game, I think there would have been some interesting conversations that would have had to be had. Now, do I think this would have been like what happened with Sherrod Moore? Do I think it would have been maybe a long-term conversation? Not necessarily, but going between 3-1 and 2-2, definitely a major change of what that could look like. And yeah, they did enough in this one, able to get the win, a good win. And yeah, now Michigan heads into the bye to kind of heal up a little bit. If you look at their pregame just injury list, it's extremely long, but now they have to get ready for Wisconsin, which will be probably a complete blowout because Wisconsin is awful. But yeah, good first 4 games for Michigan, 3-1. I don't think you can really complain too much. If you're a Michigan fan, maybe you would have wanted to get a win against Oklahoma, but ending up getting a win at Nebraska isn't too bad of a cancellation to that. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this preview. If you did, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, comment. Definitely we'll talk more about Michigan football in the future. But yeah, no, really appreciate everyone tuning into this one. We'll see how Bryce Underwood responds against Wisconsin. I don't think it's going to be a close game, like I said prior to this. And yeah, Nebraska, again, falls short of another really close game that they need to win. And that's just what Nebraska is at this point, and you have to give credit for Michigan to getting that win.